What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I'm here at the mechanic. I'm gonna make my way out of here soon and head on my way to the next destination shortly. But I figured I'd connect with y'all and talk about this this one situation. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing that hoodie that you guys see me buy yesterday. The one I told you that I was gonna wear today in my videos. This is it. Black Tigers, zip up, Detroit on the hood. You know, I always got to represent my city. But there's a man who left his, I'm not going to drop his name, but he left his kids, three of them at McDonald's while he went to go do a job interview. I think the youngest was one, the middle kid was 6 or 7, and the oldest was 10. So he's been arrested and charged with child endangerment. And, I got a lot of feelings about that. I'm not condoning what he did. Let me just start off by saying that. I'm not condoning what he did. This was obviously a bad decision. What I will say is this, though. That man had to have been in dire straits for him to leave his 3 children at McDonald's to go for a job interview. He didn't leave his kids and go off tricking like that one chick did in what was it, in Pontiac not too long ago. The woman here who had left her kids alone for years and would just drop off a loaf of bread or a pizza here and there. He left them to go do a job interview. I can only imagine what that man's situation must have been like for him to be hard up enough to do that. Because he got a 1-year-old, So he must have really needed that job and didn't have a babysitter. Clearly didn't have a babysitter to do that. So again, I'm not condoning this. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine that if he weren't in some sort of bind, him making the same choice. Because again, he went to interview for a job. Dude ain't out there BSing around. And it's created some outrage. But surprisingly, the outrage is more favoring the dad. Because listen, we all know, we all have been there where our parent had to leave us at home, but they left us at home. I think that's the difference here. When I was coming up, y'all, 10 years old was old enough to be left at the crib for a bit. So I don't know if they homeless or what, because I'm just wondering, why did he leave them at the McDonald's instead of at home? Like, is the guy homeless? Is he in a shelter? I mean, something. There's a lot to this story that we just really don't know. But I'm trying not to judge because it's so unusual. It's very unusual for a man to lead a kid somewhere and do that. We've seen it plenty of times with women. We usually don't see that happen with men. And if it were a woman, a lot of people would be defending her. I mean, people weren't defending the woman who left the kids for years, obviously, because that was just indefensible. It don't matter how strong the sisterhood may be at times, how ridiculous the sisterhood may be at times. Nobody was about to defend that. But when that one woman who worked at Little Caesars, she was leaving the kids in the motel room so that she can go work, everybody jumped to her defense. They did a GoFundMe and everything to help her get a place for herself and the kids. I do like that I'm seeing that same energy here for the dad. If you're not a parent and been in financial straits, you may not understand. It's easy to say what we would have did in this situation and what we wouldn't have did when it's not our situation. So with that in mind, I'm just trying to be fair. At 9, 10 years old, I was left at home, y'all. I was left at home. My mother would give me instructions on what I could do and what I couldn't do. She had stuff that we could put in the microwave. I mean, even younger. I remember when my sister was like 11 and I was like 5 or 6 years old. We got left home a few times. It wasn't for no all day sort of stuff, but we'd be home for a few hours by ourselves. My sister, since she was 11, she was in charge. My mother had microwave stuff for us, cold cereal. We knew we couldn't use the stove. We were not to open the door. We were not to answer the phone. We could microwave some stuff. So we could make some cold cuts, or we could microwave some stuff. We weren't allowed to use the range on top of the stove or the oven. So I'm just saying, man, when you that single parent and you got multiple kids, you don't got time to sit around and just be hungry. Your kids is looking to you for provision. You got to get out there and do something. Obviously, McDonald's was a bad idea. I mean, you can't just leave kids at McDonald's. That's a public place. People gonna get nosy. People gonna get suspicious. And well-meaning people are gonna investigate when they see, hey, there's these 3 kids here, especially one of them is a 1-year-old. Well-meaning people are going to ask questions like, hey, what's going on? We need to get to the bottom of this. And I just believe that was such a situation with this. What can you do, man? I wish the guy well, honestly. I hope he doesn't do any sort of real jail time, because I really do believe this was a dire situation. Anytime I've ever seen parents outside of that situation with the disgraceful chick in Pontiac, anytime I've seen a parent leave their kids alone for a bit like that to go do something, be it work or an interview, they don't have anybody else. They're hard on their luck. They barely making ends meet, and they don't really have anybody else. And remember, I think this is the most important aspect to remember of this. And it's that dads do not have the same benefits that women do. And what I mean by that is there's all types of programs for single moms that do not exist for men, even if the man is a single parent. So a lot of times the man just got to kind of figure it out. Whatever's happening, you a man deal with it. That's what we expect to do in all situations. You a man deal with it. You a man figure it out. So obviously his solution, it was a bad one. And it's played out like this. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll be looking forward to those. I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.